The path to hundreds of millions didn't come to her through luck. It came from grit, long nights, and a voice the industry could never ignore. Every step was slow, deliberate, hard-earned. Stevie Nicks, the singer-songwriter who shaped modern rock, built her fortune the same way she built her legend, with discipline and ownership. And today, she lives far from loud arenas, settled in the dry calm of the Arizona desert, where warm horizons and quiet mornings define a life she finally controls. So let me take you a little deeper now, because the way she earned her fortune is just as deliberate as the life she lives today. Stevie Nicks has a net worth of $120 million, a fortune built on a decisive advantage. She wrote songs that last. Her wealth comes not from sudden fame, but from decades of ownership, discipline, and protection of the publishing rights behind some of rock's most enduring hits. Songwriting has always been her primary motivation. Classics like Landslide, Rhiannon, and Edge of 17 continue to generate substantial royalties from radio, streaming, licensing, and reissues worldwide. As the sole songwriter for many of these songs, she has long earned the lion's share of publishing, a steady stream estimated at $5 million a year, or about $50 million a decade, even when not touring. Live performances have generated a second-largest source of income. Fleetwood Mac's reunions and stadium tours regularly rank among the world's highest-grossing musical groups. Court filings from 2018 revealed that each band member was expected to earn $200,000 per show on a 60-date Live Nation tour, roughly $12 million each, with bonuses pushing the total even higher. These figures illustrate the scale of touring earnings that supported her fortune long before her music catalog exploded. Her solo career added another lucrative track. Belladonna went quadruple platinum, and records like The Wild Heart, Rock a Little, and 24 Karat Gold helped her maintain high touring profits. As a solo artist, she received a smaller share of the revenue, so ticket sales, merchandise, and publishing revenue accrued much more directly, ultimately adding tens of millions of dollars to her income. But the financial tipping point came in December 2020, when she sold 80% of her music catalog to Primary Wave for $80 million, valuing the catalog at $100 million. It was one of the first major deals of the modern catalog acquisition era, and instantly transformed her financial profile. More importantly, she retained a 20% stake, ensuring long-term royalty income without administrative responsibility. Real estate is a quiet but reliable part of her portfolio. Nicks bought a $9 million gated estate in Pacific Palisades, which she then listed for $14 million before selling privately. She owns a $3 million oceanfront penthouse in Santa Monica and previously built an 8,000-square-foot mansion in Paradise Valley, Arizona, purchased for $3 million and where she currently resides. These properties are not speculative. They are homes that will naturally increase in value over time. Her investment approach has always been consistent: low-risk, high-value assets, retaining key rights, and predictable cash flow. She eschewed risky ventures, relying instead on royalties, catalog equity, and strategic tours. Today, her annual income typically ranges from $8 million to $12 million during her off-tour years, and significantly higher whenever she returns to the music scene. Stevie's financial life reflects a clear philosophy: protect what you create, own what lasts, and let time compound the value. And that clarity leads us naturally to the place where she lives out that philosophy today: her quiet desert home in Arizona. Mansion in Arizona. Nestled along the quiet slopes of Camelback Mountain, Stevie Nicks's Paradise Valley home feels more like a desert hideaway than a residence. She bought it in the early 1980s for $3 million, long before the neighborhood was flooded with luxury properties, and over the decades it became her private retreat, a place she retreated to when the world was noisy and she needed to return to herself. The house is about 7,300 square feet, but it has a comfort that has nothing to do with size. Built with stone, wood, and long sheets of desert glass, the house embraces the landscape rather than competes with it. It looks lived in, not staged. A home shaped by time, not design trends. The entryway sets the tone. Tall stone walls flanked the sides, ivy creeping gently up the edges as if it had been whispering its way up for years. A wooden bench sat near the door, simple and rustic, as if meant for someone to rest after a long hike up the hillside. Warm light streamed through the glass windows at dusk, illuminating the tiled floor and letting you know right away. Nothing was there for show. Everything was meant to be comfortable. Inside, the living room unfolded like a quiet story. Tall windows framed an almost surreal scene. Desert trees, sun-warmed stone, and a small waterfall just a few feet from the glass. The familiar interior somehow made it easier to breathe. Striped sofas, softened by time, a grand piano in the corner, warm lamps glowing like desert lanterns, and wooden floors creaking softly with history. By day, the room glows in soft desert white. By night, it becomes a cocoon, lit by the light and the gentle thump of the rocks outside. The dining area is adjacent, warmed by sunlight streaming through wide glass doors that open onto the courtyard. A long wooden table stretches beneath a classic chandelier, solid, sturdy, the kind where conversations last longer than dinner. The kitchen next door is very Stevie-esque. Cherry cabinets, double ovens, 3 sinks, 2 refrigerators, a warming drawer, a drinks refrigerator, and a pantry large enough to hold years gone by. It's a working kitchen, where meals are cooked, not served. Practical, down to earth, and quietly beautiful. The bedrooms exude the same serenity. One faces deep green, the other has pale colors and warm wood floors. But the master bedroom is the heart of the house, the space Stevie returns to after long business trips and long nights. It seems to hover between 2 worlds, airy, open, and framed by a wall of glass that looks out over the mountains and the twinkling city lights in the distance. The room changes hues as the day goes by. Morning light silvers the walls. Afternoon sun warms everything with a soft golden hue. At night, the desert transforms into a deep blue ocean behind the glass. Yet through all the turmoil, the room remains the same, the peaceful anchor on which she has built her life. The master bathroom reflects that simplicity. A garden tub, a steam shower, a double sink, and a long closet keep the space neat and clean. It's a room without a vanity, practical, peaceful, the kind of place where one can take a slow breath and let the day pass. Deeper into the house, a small living room appears almost unannounced. A sofa, a wall-mounted television, and a window that opens onto a cluster of natural stones. The room feels like an unexpected retreat, a space where someone can sit and sip tea, watch the light play on the stones, or fall asleep to soft music. It's idyllic in its own right. Outside, the house lets the desert take center stage. Stone patios wind around the hillside, some tucked in the shade, others facing the harsh Arizona sun. An outdoor fireplace provides warmth on chilly evenings. A simple sitting area sits under a canopy of desert trees. Narrow paths weave between trees and rocks, taking you deeper into the grounds. And in a quiet corner, a spa nestled among the rocks, blending naturally into nature as if it had always been there. In the late afternoon, as the sun sets, the rocks glow a soft amber, the whole space brightening. Walk through these bright, simple rooms, and you'll see why Stevie calls this place her sanctuary. It's not a grand house, just a home where she can finally relax. And right outside, that same quiet rhythm follows her into the cars she drives around Arizona. Now, let's step into the garage and take a look at her car collection. Stevie Nicks has never been interested in flashy garages. Every car she drives is chosen for comfort and privacy. not ostentation. Her most iconic vehicle is her $65,000 Chevrolet Suburban, a long, dark SUV built with the kind of presence that fits Stevie's life on the move. On the outside, it's all clean lines and matte black confidence. Tall, steady, and quiet enough to slip through dawn airport runs unnoticed. But the interior is where this car becomes truly hers. The cabin is lined with deep, cushioned leather seats, wide armrests, and soft lighting that turns the whole space into a rolling office. There's room for garment bags, lyric notebooks, water bottles, and the shawls she always carries. It's not built to impress. It's built to hold her life together between one city and the next. A place where she can think, write, and disappear into her own world. Her Mercedes-Benz S-Class, now worth around $25,000, is completely different. Sleeker, smoother, and designed with a kind of quiet luxury that suits her softer days. The exterior is polished silver, stretching long and low across the road, with curves that catch light like a piece of jewelry. Inside, the S-Class feels almost weightless. The dashboard is clean and elegant, trimmed in brushed metal and dark wood, and the cabin has that faint new car scent she loves, warm leather mixed with a hint of cologne from the previous driver. This is the car she used to arrive at hotels and venues late at night, slipping out of the back seat with her shawl draped over her shoulder, moving with a lightness that made her blend right into the night. And then there's the car that feels the most honest. Her $40,000 Toyota Sienna, powered by a 296-horsepower 3.5-liter V6, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. A minivan built for easy days and long, sun-drenched drives across Arizona. Inside, it's surprisingly roomy and comfortable. The sliding doors open to reveal a wide cabin with up to 150 cubic feet of cargo space, cushioned seats with deep cup holders, and generous compartments that hold layers of jackets, notebooks, groceries, or the little things she likes to keep within reach. It's the kind of car where she can slip behind the wheel, breathe out, and settle into the quiet comfort of a ride that never asks for attention, only to be driven. If each of her cars reflects a different part of her life, the work, the quiet entrances, the everyday moments, then what does it say about her when she turns that same care outward? And what happens when someone who's lived so fully chooses to use her success to lift other people instead of herself? To understand that, we need to step into the chapter where Stevie Nicks gives back philanthropy. For Stevie Nicks, charity isn't a splashy moment. It's a private act, shaped by the calm gestures and gentle sincerity she's known for. Her deepest commitment is to wounded servicemen and women, a mission she began in the mid-2000s after working in military hospitals. Those visits led to her Soldier Angels program, where she donates iPod Nanos filled with carefully curated playlists, each signed and personally delivered. Over the years, she estimates she's spent between $150,000 and $200,000 on these devices, turning a simple gesture into a source of comfort for hundreds of recovering soldiers. One of the earliest fundraisers to support the cause was a charity photography exhibition, which raised about $25,000 in a single night. The money goes directly to expanding the program. More iPods, more music, more hospital visits, and more moments of connection for service members at Walter Reed and the National Naval Medical Center. It's the kind of giving that doesn't require staging or fanfare, it just requires presence. Her compassion extends far beyond the military community. A longtime supporter of the Arizona Heart Foundation, an organization tied to her family, Nicks has made multiple donations over the years, estimated at $50,000 to $75,000, to support research, screening, and local care initiatives. She has also supported youth mentoring programs like Big Brothers Big Sisters and contributed to music education efforts through the Grammy Foundation and Music Rising, donating an estimated $100,000 over the past decade. For global advocacy groups like the One Campaign, her involvement has combined financial support with a community message, helping to raise awareness for poverty reduction programs around the world. Her foundation, officially established in 2007, operates on a small but steady scale, typically managing around $80,000 per year to support causes tied to healing, music, mentorship, and community. While the foundation's revenue remains modest, Nyx consistently expands its reach through her own contributions, adding an estimated $100,000 annually from personal funds, a pattern that reflects both her independence and her belief that giving must remain sincere. In the end, Stevie Nicks' philanthropy isn't measured in headlines, but in the small, steady ways she chooses to show up for people. And that same quiet devotion follows her home too, shaping the rhythm of the life she lives today, far from the stage and closer to the things that keep her grounded. Personal life. These days, Stevie Nicks lives quietly in her home in Arizona, a place where the desert light drifts through the windows in a soft, familiar way. It isn't the house that defines her life now, but the peace it offers. It gives her a slow rhythm to settle into, a calm backdrop where she can write, record, and keep only the people she truly trusts close by. Her days move gently. Most mornings start in the studio, where warm lamps, old pianos, and stacks of handwritten lyrics sit exactly where she left them. Like friends she's known forever, she'll point across the room during a take, lean into a microphone, or pause in the doorway with that thoughtful look she's had her whole life. Offstage, she reaches for the simple things: an open window, a long view, a quiet afternoon where the desert horizon feels like its own kind of company. But even in this softness, her personal life has carried its own storms. She married only once, in 1983, to Kim Anderson, a decision born from shared grief after her best friend Robin passed away. Stevie has always been honest about it. It wasn't love, just two people trying to hold on to something familiar when the world around them felt unbearable. The marriage ended after 3 months. And the relationships that followed, Lindsey Buckingham, Mick Fleetwood, Don Henley, Jimmy Iovine, Joe Walsh, each brought their own weight, the kind that shaped both her music and the stories people still tell about her. Yet the woman we see now, laughing with friends, standing beside younger artists, officiating the wedding of John Macaulay and Vanessa Carlton, feels freer than the one tied to old heartbreaks. Her circle is small, steady, and mostly made up of women she leans on, family she trusts, and collaborators who've stayed with her through decades. And when she steps onto her balcony at sunset or into a studio glowing with warm gold, you can sense it clearly. Stevie Nicks is finally living life at her own pace, quieter, grounded, and exactly the way she wants it. Her life today isn't about avoiding the past but settling it, letting the drama stay in the songs while she keeps the peace for herself. Want more stories like this? Calm moments, hidden chapters, and the lives artists live beyond the spotlight? Subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me who we should uncover next.